Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 21st chapter, entitled Conversation between Manu and Kardama. Text number 55 and 56. 55 I'll read by myself. Adharmascha samedheta lolupairvyankushay nribihi shayane tvai lokoyam dasyugrasto vinangshyati. Translation. If you gave up all thought of the world situation, unrighteousness would flourish, for men who hanker only after money would be unopposed. Such miscreants would attack and the world would perish. Purport. Because the scientific division of 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas is now being extinguished, the entire world is being governed by unwanted men who have no training in religion, politics, or social order, and it is in a very deplorable condition. In the institution of 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas, there are regular training principles for the different classes of men. Just as in the modern age there is a necessity for engineers, medical practitioners, and electricians, and they are properly trained in different scientific institutions, similarly, in former times the higher social orders, namely the intelligent class, the Brahmanas, the ruling class, the Kshatriyas, and the mercantile class, the Vaishyas, were properly trained. Bhagavad Gita describes the duties of the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. When there is no such training, one simply claims that because he is born in a Brahmana or Kshatriya family, he is therefore a Brahmana or a Kshatriya, even though he performs the duties of a Shudra. Such undue claims to being a higher caste man make the system of scientific social orders into a caste system, completely degrading the original system. Thus, society is now in chaos, and there is neither peace nor prosperity. It is clearly stated herein that unless there is the vigilance of a strong king, impious, unqualified men will claim a certain status in society, and that will make the social order perish. Text number 56. Athapi prache tvam vira yadartham tvam iha gataha tadvayam nirvyalikena Pratipadyamahe Hrida. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. In spite of all this, I ask you, O valiant king, the purpose for which you have come here. Whatever it may be, we shall carry it out without reservation. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When a guest comes to a friend's house, it is understood that there is some special purpose. Kardama Muni could understand that such a great king as Swayambhuva, although traveling to inspect the condition of his kingdom, must have had some special purpose to come to his hermitage. Thus he prepared himself to fulfill the king's desire. Formerly, it was customary that the sages used to go to the kings and the kings used to visit the sages in their hermitages. Each was glad to fulfill the other's purpose. This reciprocal relationship is called Bhakti Karya. There is a nice verse describing the relationship of mutual beneficial interest between the Brahmana and the Kshatriya. Kshatram Dvijatvam. Kshatram means the royal order and Dvijatvam means the Brahminical order. The two were meant for mutual interest. The royal order would give protection to the Brahmanas for the cultivation of spiritual advancement in society, and the Brahmanas would give their valuable instruction to the royal order on how the state and the citizens can gradually be elevated in spiritual perfection. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport.
As appropriate, he is praising the role of Swayambhuva Manu as a king of mankind, saying that if you give up the interest in this world, then unrighteousness would flourish, and men who hanker only money would plunder everything. Such miscreants would attack and the world would perish. So in this material world, one has to understand the most important governing principle is power. Every living entity is after power. In other words, that is called lording nature. By default, the false ego's tendency is always to, the real ego's tendency is always towards love, and the false ego's tendency is always towards power. Now, in order to cure this disease of power of the living entities, disease of what? Hankering after power. This entire Varnasrama system is a system by which every member of the community of Varnasrama is trained to be a servant of the society. A Shudra is serving the society, the system, because the fruit of his labor goes to everybody, to Kshatriya, to Brahmana, to everyone. The Vaishya also, he also serves the entire society by the fruit of his labor. Everyone eats because of the Vaishyas. The Kshatriya, everyone benefits from Kshatriya service because Kshatriya service is to see that this division of power is not disturbed. Because the nature of the living entity in the material world is to lord over. It does not matter whether it is a Shudra or a Kshatriya or anybody. That is a common tendency running in all conditioned souls. So the Kshatriya's duty is to balance that everyone is getting their due power and due sustenance within the Varnasrama system, due enjoyment, due artha, due kama, all those things. And then the Brahmana is also serving the entire society. In which way? The Brahmana is in possession of knowledge about the material world, knowledge about how the material world works. He is in knowledge about the purpose of the living entity who is entrapped in this material body. He is in knowledge about what is the purpose of the social system of Varnasrama. He has got the total picture, he has got the knowledge about all the interdynamics. It's very detailed knowledge. Different astras, different shastras, everything. All this knowledge he has got, the Brahmana. Material and transcendental knowledge also. Knowledge of Brahman. That doesn't come free, it comes out of labor. Labor is what? He may be sitting in his puja room, or he may be sitting and meditating or reading the shastras and all those things. He may not be laboring outside with his physical body, but he is laboring with his brain. There is nobody sits idle in the entire Varnasrama system. So the Brahmana is absorbed in this subject matter, so he becomes very proficient to guide the Kshatriyas and all the other classes of, Kshatriya, Vaishyas and primarily the Kshatriyas are guided by the Brahmanas. And that knowledge is taken down by the Kshatriyas. They are the administrators, they are the implementers. They have got the power and the authority to implement the Kshatriyas. That is why Kshatriyas are embodiment of power. So they are the kings, they rule the entire, kingdom, entire society. So the key factor you can see in all these things is that the Brahmana is also a servant, Kshatriya is also a servant, Vaishya is also a servant, Shudra is also a servant. Constitutionally, you are put there as a servant. And the entire purification process is there, whereby the system is always making you servant. But your false ego is always wanting power, want to lord over. Your lording over tendency is regulated within the Varnasrama system. So it's a beautiful design of the Lord, wherein the living entities can purify himself if he wants to, otherwise you can again go within the cycle of birth and death again and again. But if required, he can get liberated, moksha. From this artha and kama, he can get moksha and go to the parodharma, which is go back to Godhead. So that is why this is the divine system of social organization within the material world. And there is ample knowledge available of what the Kshatriya's duty was, the Brahmana's duty. It is not just simply general definition and everything is left vague. No. In the human society, each person's duties are very elaborately described. As Prabhupada is saying, even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, what are the duties of the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra? It is so key. This Varnasrama system is so important, so key, so transcendental, so divine, so absolute. The social system of Varnasrama is so absolute because it is, like yesterday we read, Bhagavat Rachitaha. It is created by the Lord. It is so absolute that it finds a place even in Bhagavad Gita. It may look like, what is this about, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, especially if you see, Arjuna was being spoken to by Krishna. He was preaching to him. You are not doing your duty as a Kshatriya. Now you are trying to do, somebody else. You are taking an attitude of somebody else. These are all false compassions. This is not your duty. Your duty as a Kshatriya is when a war is required for dharma, you should fight. That is your duty. And we know that Bhagavad Gita begins like that. Even though it begins like that, it finally goes to parodharma, the transcendental. Sarva dharman pariteja mamekam sharanam vraja. But one should understand that it begins like this. This is also very important. Therefore, many people who read Bhagavad Gita, they understand this part of the message of Gita. Oh, you should do your duty without attachment to results. We go on hearing that. But we should not ridicule it. Which is the message, which is also an absolute message. Even we are supposed to practice that absolute message. Even your bhakti yogi will automatically be a karma yogi. So this entire material world, the entire system is about power management. And there is no better. And who are they? Power is held by living entities. Power is not held by inanimate matter. The moment you say power, it's connected to living entities, isn't it? So it's a social, every living entity is actually a social being. Not only here, it's a social being in the spiritual world also. It's not that you have any isolated existence. We are part and parcel of Krishna. Parcel means inseparable. We are part of Krishna, but you are also parcel of Krishna. Parcel means you cannot untie it. It's inseparable. Only by illusion we can come into this material world and think that I am independent. But actually, even when we are acting independently, our soul is part and parcel of Krishna. So compared to that, Prabhupada is describing about what's happening to the modern world. Look what's happening to the modern world. Instead of training Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, there were institutions to train all these people. Now they are IITs and electricians are trained and all training is going on. Very nicely Prabhupada says. Engineers, medical practitioners and electricians. They are properly trained in different scientific institutions. Actually, engineers are Shudras. Medical practitioners are also Shudras. Electricians are Super Shudras, according to the Vedic system. So today is, a software world, and what prestige software engineer you say. Some people have actually already found out also. Some intelligent karmis, they say, what is this IT? Nothing but coolies. Coolie means, you catch one person, put one, move this mud from here to there. He'll take one, go, dump there. He'll take one, dump there. Morning to evening, he will do that. Now, IT, software engineers are also only doing that. Actually, that is why software engineers are getting completely bored in life. They get so much bored. Same thing they have to do morning to evening. But when they come outside, I'm software engineer. But inside, it's such a boring job. Same thing again and again they have to do. So there is training of all this. There's only that training is there. There's no training for Brahmanas. There's no training for Vaishyas. If at all there are some agricultural colleges, nobody wants there. Nobody wants agriculture. It's the least wanted subject. And in this way, it is this whole, even though you cannot avoid, these 4 classes will be there. Intellectual and administrators and workers and traders, businessmen, the community will always be there. But they're all misdirected. No one is in the right place. The entire society itself does not have a shape. There's no social order as it is required for development of spiritual life. So in the midst of all these things, we are all products of this culture. Each of us are born in this modern culture. None of us have gone to the Gurukula. None of us have, till we met Srila Prabhupada, we never even cared for any master. There is spiritual master. Now we have the culture of surrendering to spiritual master. And without the proper training, designed training for a young mind, he comes out as an accidental product. Every youth who comes out of this present culture, it is not designed in any manner to go in line with his real self-development. Therefore, I say it's an accidental product. Purposeless. Whereas a person goes through the Gurukula system, there is a purpose and he comes out as a product. Ready to take either a grahastha life or ready to remain a sannyasi for his whole life. He's ready. He's prepared. Ground is prepared. And what are the main thing that one learns in the 25 years in the Gurukula? What does he learn? He learns how. He learns the principle of tapasya. He learns the principle of doing the duty in the midst of pleasure or pain. This is what he learns. Whereas in the material, now what is the training? The training is, each of them are seeking pleasure. They're not seeking service. They're not seeking satisfaction of somebody. Satisfaction is no longer a work, seeking somebody's satisfaction, seeking authority satisfaction, seeking my boss's satisfaction. These culture are all gone. Everybody is an upstart in this. Everybody is not well formed as a human being. If you want to be a well formed human being, then slowly, you get to feel subordinate, to feel superior to somebody, subordinate to somebody, feel equal to someone. In the present world is what everybody thinks. A little thinking capacity he's got. As soon as he grows up, then he thinks he's equal to everybody. Shoulder to shoulder, his attitude, I'm saying. The attitude is like that. Little he thinks he is equal to everybody. He has no concept of any, older. In our Vedic culture, there was respect for elders, respect for teachers, respect for... Why there was respect? Because there is a scientific basis, because they have experience. Now there is no value for experience at all, because totally what has happened is, modern world is, according to the Western system of education, turned everybody into a rational animal. Just simply glorify logical intelligence, glorify rationality. There are so many other aspects of an individual. Emotional aspect is there. Intelligence is just your capacity to think intelligently you have. But where you will apply it, everything is being applied only in a rational sense today. There is no emotional intelligence. The intelligence is not applied on emotions. All are underdeveloped human beings in this yuga. All are underdeveloped, unformed. When a brahmachari comes out of the Gurukula, he is well formed. He knows in his perception what is the value of elders, what is the value of experience. Culturally it is inculcated. How you should, teach others. It's a parampara, it goes on. The culture itself is a parampara. Even within a family, younger brother, older sister, there's a hierarchy of respect. Sometimes in our country, it's still something is there. But if you go to the West, if you tell all these things, they will laugh. Why I should respect? Oh, your elder brother. What is his elder brother? Here at least you have meaning. You don't even call him by name. You'll call Anna or this thing or something. You don't call elder brother by name also. There is meaning in all these things. See, these are all traces of our Varnasrama system. But nothing exists. Now it's all getting completely wiped out due to this civilization of sense gratification. And why this has all happened? Because the key person who infuses the purpose of existence is the Brahmana. And where is the training for Brahmana? That is why this Krishna consciousness movement is so important. Prabhupada said, I'm training Brahmanas. Key business of the Brahmana is to infuse the central purpose of existence in everybody. Even Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, or Nityam Mahabharata Sevaya, Nityam Ramayana Seva that goes on in our Varnasrama system. It is all meant by the Brahmanas. They are always preaching, they are always inculcating the purpose of existence within this social system. When all these things are absent, how can you expect somebody to actually be peaceful? If people are not peaceful, how can there be a peaceful society? Not possible. So at least we, in Krishna consciousness movement, after reading Srila Prabhupada's book, after understanding, after receiving knowledge from him, we very clearly understand why there is no peace and prosperity in this material world. Why it is like that? Because one is not following the Lord's order. So what are we supposed to do? The entire world is in chaos. What is it that we can do? Two things. One is, we create a society of Brahmanas. That means of transcendental knowledge, knowledge of Varnasrama, the purpose of Varnasrama, all these things. And then, it is not easy to inculcate this purpose in people's mind in this midst of this Kali Yuga atmosphere. Therefore, the Yuga Dharma is Sankirtana. By chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, by making people chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Even as a religion, forget about chanting Hare Krishna offenselessly for transcendental realization. It's called Yuga Dharma, means it is the Dharma, the only Dharma left for everybody. That means any Dharma that benefits anybody is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And therefore spreading this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the only way by which there can be transformation in a human being, there can be a total self-correction. Just like look at our lives. We are completely brought up in a Western education system. And total correction is happening to us. We are different individuals. After becoming devotees, after a few years, we are different individuals. Our perspective of world has changed. Our values have changed. Why it has changed? There has to be power that goes, changing power. There must be transforming power. It is changed because something else is inculcated from childhood. How can that change without a powerful change agent? That is Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam. Kalo nasti eva nasti eva nasti eva gatiranyata. So even though we scientifically we think of the Varnasrama system and all these things, but one should understand that in this Kali Yuga, it is very clear that Varnasrama by itself will not work, it will fail. Varnasrama with Sankirtana, specific form of worship of Sankirtana, Sankirtana Yajna. Then Varnasrama will work. Our anarthas will get managed. Social order is possible. For instance, you think this temple, so many people, so many devotees are, staying together. It's a society. And there is social order. And that social order is coming actually by the strength of not any system. The social order is coming in this because of the morning program. You drop the morning program, you drop the japa, none of us will stay together. That is guaranteed. Our Nija Rupa will come. Ahankara Rupas will come. Each of our Ahankara Rupa, Kala will start full-fledged and temple will be empty. So you should know it is a power of Sankirtana that is day to day it is purifying us, day to day cleansing us. So it is a medicine that just like every day you take medicine you get relief. In the same way, every day we chant Hare Krishna, we get relief in life. And day after day goes on and then life goes on. And Prabhupada says you'll go back to Godhead. Such a simple process. The real process is so complicated. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, and then all those things. You have to go through the entire, and then there is no guarantee that you will get liberated like that. But here we are guaranteed to go back to Godhead within one lifetime. This is due to the extremely merciful decision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself for the next 10,000 years. Super discount He has offered. Krishna as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come. Namo Mahavadanya, that's why he said, Namo most munificent, Namo Mahavadanyaya. Krishna prema pratayate. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya namne Gauratishe namaha. So we should always remember Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, remember Srila Prabhupada who gave us Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who gave us the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who gave Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to the entire universe. Only the owner of a business can declare discount. Isn't that? Then nobody will ask, hey, why you are giving discount? Business will go in loss. Arey, I have decided. Discount. Discount means what? You don't pay the right price, which is due. So today we are all got Krishna consciousness without paying the right price. We have got Krishna consciousness. Or at least trying to get Krishna consciousness. Even little that we have already got, it's far, far, higher than karmic consciousness. Any questions?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, see, if you see Bhagavad Gita, there in the end, Lord Krishna says that to Arjuna, there is a direct method that you can directly surrender to me and get salvation. But in the earlier ages, when Varnasrama system was actually functioning, say, in a better way, the living entity, he has to go through the Varnasrama system, or was there a direct method where he can approach God? Like how?
No, you always go through the Varnasrama system. Even Arjuna also went through the Varnasrama system. Finally, Arjuna fought or not?
Yes.
Even though he fought the war in a different attitude. Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam. Let me surrender, let me listen to what Krishna says. Correct?
Right.
So surrendering to Krishna does not exclude one from being out of the Varnasrama system. That is exactly why we are talking about our Daivya Varnasrama system. It's not a Varnasrama, it's not a plain social order. Some social scientist can take these social orders and make it, so nice and this and that and all those things. It's a beautiful social order, all these things. He will cut off the yajna part, he'll cut off the satisfying Vishnu part in Dharma, in the Varnasrama system, and he can scientifically establish this 4 social orders and its excellent system, excellent social system, but it'll fail. So, within Varnasrama system also, as I explained, the purpose of Varnasrama system is to awaken everybody to their divine status as servants of God. For that, the attitude of being servant of the society is first, not master. Obedience, surrender to the system. Then he is elevated to his divine status as being an eternal servant of Krishna, as surrendering to Krishna. So one is not exclusive of the other.
Okay, Prabhuji, but if you look at the objective of Varnasrama system, it was Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. I mean, there was no objective as how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told. So how did it work? I mean, how did the person actually reach to the, because for us, as you rightly said, we got it at a very cheap price. I mean, something which we have.
Yeah. No, see, the moksha has wide meanings. Moksha, the highest among moksha, because when you have prema for God, you are already liberated. You cannot be not liberated and have prema. So moksha includes in prema. So in fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that there are 4 purusharthas. 5th purushartha is Krishna prema. There are actually 5 purusharthas. So the main, at least you come to this level, then you'll get the 5th purushartha. That means, what is the purpose of life? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, Prema, Krishna Prema. जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.